Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's story name is The Story of Silk. Did you know that silk was discovered in China a long time ago? In a tiny village in China, there lived a poor girl belonging to a weaver's family. One day, the emperor was passing through the village and saw her working in the fields. He noticed her pretty face, her proud bearing, and her rough work worn hands, which meant she worked very hard through the year. She immediately fell in love with her, and though he was much older, decided to marry her. The girl married the ruler of the land and went to live in his palace as his beloved queen, but she was unhappy. She had grown up in the wide open spaces of the countryside, and now she was confined to a palace, magnificent though it was. She was used to working from dawn to night without a moment's rest. But now she had many servants to take care of her needs and did not know how to fill her time. In the village, she had been surrounded by family and friends who exchanged news and gossip as they worked. But in the palace, it was quiet and no one spoke out of turn. The emperor noticed his new wife was sad and tried his best to make her happy. He bought her grand clothes, jewels, and artifacts, threw elaborate parties, hired the best musicians of the land to amuse her. Yet she was sad. In the afternoon, the empress sat under a mulberry bush in her garden, lost in her thoughts about her village. She slowly sipped hot water from a cup, staring up at the blue sky. The girl remembered the birds that flew over her village. Then, sighing softly to herself, she picked up her cup to take another sip. But what was this? A cocoon from the mulberry bush had dropped into the hot water. Her first thought was to throw away the water and the cocoon, but then she took a closer look and she saw some threads peeping out from the cocoon. Where had they come from? She pulled the threads. They were thin, strong, and shiny. She kept pulling, and a long line of thread came out. Now the empress had a great idea. She would take the thread from many cocoons and weave soft, strong clothes from it. She called her servants, and everyone got to work. They took cocoons out of the mulberry tree, dropped them in hot water, and removed the thread. They gathered a fair amount of yarn. Then the queen ordered a special weaving machine and wove the first piece of cloth using this new thread. This was how silk, the best and brightest form of cloth, was weaved. The manufacture of silk thread throughout China spread throughout China. It was the cloth that only royalty could wear and was much in demand in lands as far away as Rome. The route through which silk was traded between China and Europe through Asia was called the Silk Route. Now that the Chinese had learned how to make silk cloth, they did not want to share this knowledge with anyone in the world. For many years, all members of the Chinese royal family were sworn never to reveal the secret to anyone. When princes got married and went away to far off lands, they were not allowed to tell anyone in their new home how silk was made. Many, many years later, when a clever princess was leaving her house on getting married, as was the custom, her bags were searched carefully to check that she did not carry anything that would help her make silk. This princess had been weaving silk from a young age and wanted to continue to do so wherever she went. She had hidden the cocoons in her long, elaborate hairdo. No one thought of looking there. When she went to her husband's house, she took out these cocoons from her hair and started gathering silk thread. In this way, legend goes, the knowledge of how to make silk left China. Sudha Murthy.